From Seeds of Wisdom. Team Silver 57. Jim in the Constitution Telegram Rue. The illusion of separation, government versus corporation. We like to think of the government as this separate entity, you know, the one that sets the rules for everyone else. But what if it's not so different from a giant corporation? Think about it, both have hierarchies, budgets and missions, even if those missions are sometimes questionable. Both impact our lives daily, whether we like it or not. So where does the line really blur? That's the million-dollar question, folks. Is it possible that the government, at its core, is just another player in the corporate game? A service corporation, if you will, one that provides essential services like security, infrastructure and, well, let's just say, justice with a heavy dose of skepticism. It's a thought-provoking perspective, to be sure, and it raises some uncomfortable questions about who's really in control. The government as a service provider, a new perspective. Think of it this way, you pay taxes, right? And in return, the government provides services. Sounds familiar? That's because it's the basic model of any service-based business. You pay, you get. Of course, the quality of service is debatable. And the customer service hotline, let's just say it involves a lot of hold music and unanswered questions. But the analogy holds up. The government, like any corporation, needs to manage its resources, balance its books, and dare we say, turn a profit? Okay, maybe profit isn't the right word. But let's be honest, governments aren't known for being frugal with taxpayer money, so maybe it's not so far-fetched to view them through a corporate lens. Historical echoes, corruption, and the blurred lines. History is littered with examples of governments acting more like corporations than protectors of the people. We've seen corruption scandals, shady backroom deals, and politicians who seem more interested in lining their pockets than serving their constituents. It's enough to make you wonder, who are these people really working for? Remember, that time a certain energy company convinced a certain administration to invade a certain oil-rich country. Or how about when a certain pharmaceutical giant lobbied for legislation that benefited their bottom line at the expense of public health? These aren't isolated incidents. They're symptoms of a system where the lines between government and corporate interests have become dangerously blurred. The bankruptcy filing a nation in the red. Now imagine this headline: President and CEO file for bankruptcy, dissolve United States corporation. Sounds like something out of a dystopian novel, right? But what if it wasn't fiction? What if the powers that be decided to just call it quits? To dissolve the corporation known as the United States and leave its citizens to fend for themselves. It might sound crazy, but desperate times call for desperate measures. And when a corporation is drowning in debt, facing internal strife and losing the trust of its stakeholders, that's us, by the way, bankruptcy can seem like the only option. Of course, in this case, the stakes are a little higher than your average Chapter 11 filing. Unraveling the implications. What does it mean for us? So what would happen if the United States declared bankruptcy? It's uncharted territory, but it's safe to say things would get messy. Imagine a world without a functioning government. No police, no fire department, no public schools. It's enough to give you nightmares. But beyond the immediate chaos, there's a bigger question. What happens to the idea of a nation? To our rights, our freedoms, our very identity as Americans? It's a sobering thought, and one that should give us all pause. Your homework, digging deeper into the truth. Now, we're not saying this is all going to happen tomorrow, but it's important to be aware of the possibilities, to connect the dots and ask tough questions. Don't just take our word for it. Do your own research. Look at the historical precedents. Follow the money. You might be surprised by what you find. Do your own research. Please subscribe and follow seedsofwisdomteam.com. They care about facts,